Happy Thursday, Sunrisers. Welcome to the Roundtable. I am Shelly-Ann, and joining me this morning is my co-host, Kirk. Hi, Ghetto Kirk. First time on the Roundtable with Ghetto Kirk. Good to see you, darling. And of course, the one and only, who's no stranger to the Roundtable, Miss TK. Tony K. That's what the TK is for? Tony K. Dawkins. Yes. Welcome to the Roundtable. I didn't know that was Tony. I thought it was some really obscure name that you didn't want anybody to know. How do you do?
Oh, so good. It's so good.
Locks.
It's good to be here.
Yes, man, it's a good time. It's been a very, very busy week for me. I'm in the middle of a school tour, so I'm very excited to be with the young people. But, you know, we've got to see what's going on social media. The young people on there. Let's go to the social bus.
Okay.
Let's go.
Today, I want to tell you about my grandma, Rita Marley. There would be no Bob Marley if there was no Rita Marley. I think it's a responsibility to really platform my grandma's story because she isn't often spoken about in the shadow of my grandfather. And it is important for other young women to see themselves in the struggle, but also the liberation and the success that she has been through. People relate to her music because of the messages that call to your spirit, to heal, to see your own light, to work together, to be collective, and to be patient with yourself and your own evolution. What makes my grandma a rebel girl is her fearless pursuit of herself in the face of so many challenges. She never gave up. Now that I've told you a little bit about my grandma, it's time for you to do your research. Rita Marley, she's everywhere.
Wow.
Yes. I really loved that video. And what I love about it is the fact that I personally believe that Rita Marley does not get her flowers the way she should. And a lot of the times when we talk about Rita Marley, we always talk about her in relation to all of the things that Bob Marley did with all of the women. And she's always just a part of that. When by herself, as a standalone figure, Rita Marley is an icon, and we need to give her the respect she's due. What say you?
Absolutely. I mean, she's a powerhouse, and such a musical powerhouse consistently for decades. You know, she was not just a backup singer. She was a powerful woman in her own right, made a lot of moves, a lot of waves at that time. I absolutely agree with you. She needs her flowers.
Yes, man. While she's alive, too. We'll have to do that after, you know. Yes, Kurt.
They say every great man, behind him, there is a supportive and nurturing woman. And I think, yeah, she plays that role very well, and she is her great standalone as.
Of course. Yeah, man. Big up Ghetto Kirk,
She's
of
right.
course. Of course, no, man, for real. But, you know, we have a whole heap of things and a bag of things, so we can see what is in the bag of things. Well, I see TK with a bag on her lap. So, TK, what is in your bag of things?
Well, you told me a bag of things. I brought the bag, and it definitely have things.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? And so, in honor of course, you know, our baby is born. Mrs. Kitty's baby is born.
Baby's arrived.
And healthy and well. So I saw these and, you know, thought of her, and it inspired me. So, of course, you know, new mummies all over. We need a photo album.
Yes,
and I mean the photo frame so that we can have baby all over the house, right? But also, you know, Mrs. Kitty, Mrs. Kitty, one of the smartest people that I know.
Quite so.
So we know her daughter is in for it. So, of course, books.
Yes.
Books is the way we go.
Must.
So we have some
We
books
love
that we're
babies who
highlighting.
read. Yes.
We love babies who read.
Less screen time.
So we have The Joys of Parenting.
That's
so
a good one.
This one is for you, Mrs. Kelly,
Yes.
not just the baby, but also for the baby real quick. We can have Think Big, Little One. Of course, we're putting in big visions, big dreams for what's going to be a big, powerful woman
I am sure
in the
she's
future.
already been thinking big in the womb.
You know what
so
I
it's
mean?
just about to be even more so.
And of course, you have to have her first Bible and a baby's first Bible stories.
Oh, shucks.
Wow.
Cute.
These are important as
Yes,
well. You know, we
ma'am.
need a grounded baby. We love this for her. And last up, you know, every mother I've seen always the journal and chronicle everything. So baby's first year.
Yes.
You know,
That's going to be
always
a memento.
They always say babies grow up so fast, so it's always good. I wish my mom had this of me.
Is that the one where you put the little baby footprint in there with the paint?
It's too far back for your mother would have something like that.
Just cool, man. It's just that sometimes you can do ultrasounds and pictures of the baby and notes and you know, just things like that. So in honor of you, Mrs. Kitty, we're thinking of you here and our baby girl. And that's my bag of things.
Yes, I'm very happy that baby Shelly is finally here. I can't wait to meet her. And so, Miss Kitty,
why is everyone naming the baby?
Yes, but fun and joke aside, we're very, very happy to know the baby is healthy and good and you're doing well. So go on rest, Miss Kitty, we're thinking about you. Can't wait to see you and the baby. So go and take care of yourself same way. Something hot or something hot, go? Yeah, man, we always like something hot in the morning, you know. Yes. Let's see what I keep in the box this morning. All right. Oh, Jesus.
What's happening?
Biological clocks. The dreaded femme fatale. Jesus. Biological clocks. All right. So let me see what's the easiest way I can explain this. I don't know why every time we talk about biological clock, we only focus it on women, as if men don't have a clock to. For them, clock run on a different time. But since we're talking about
it run on money. It run on money. That's what it run on.
Significantly different time.
But if we're talking about female biological clocks, what we're talking about is that window where women can have children. And now that window, it starts at puberty and ends at menopause. Now, puberty is what happens when you're transitioning from child into womanness, and some sexual, secondary sexual characteristics develop. You have breasts, you get pubic hair, your womb, and your ovaries are activated. Your ovaries release an egg. The menstrual cycle happens, and the menstrual cycle is a part of the reproductive cycle. Now, when you get into menopause, menopause starts at the end of your first 12 missed periods. So that means for a year, you don't have any periods. After that, you're in menopause. Now, that can happen at different ages. I think the average age of menopause is about 51. But as we say about, because it has been younger, it has been older, dependent on the woman. Now, as it relates to the biological clock, it's a very, very big thing for a lot of women who started off, you know, wanting to do something before they start having children. And then when they start to try to have children, they come upon some roadblocks. But what are your thoughts? Let me just start with the man, sir, about, especially now, you see a lot of women waiting to have children and finding out later that they're having challenges having children because of their system and different things that's going on in their bodies, that their biological clocks that are affected by waiting so long. What do you think?
I think a lot of women don't know that it's not you just try one time and you get pregnant, right? A lot of women don't know that a lot of it is chance, right? To get pregnant, this is a statistic I found on our lovely friend Google.
Of course, you know. I'm friends with that.
So a woman at 25, the average woman at 25 has about a 25% chance to get pregnant every ovulation, right? The average time frame for a woman's cycle is 28 days. You have a 5-day window to get pregnant. After the 5-day window, you cannot get pregnant after that, right? And then here's the thing. If you're living unhealthy, you're not taking care of your body, that 25% chance actually goes down, right? And by the age of 30, that 25% chance actually becomes 20%, right? So each year, just take off 1%.
As you progressively get older.
As you get older. And then there's other risk involved, but we'll get into that later.
Lifestyle and such.
So it's best to always, you know, get your children as early as you can in a healthy way where there's no risk to you or the baby.
There's always risk. Having children is a risk itself. TK, I see your face cringing up.
I'm just listening to, I am listening to my brother. Don't set me up, Shelly. Don't set me up like that. No, what I would say as it relates to the biological clock, what I have found is that as somebody who is, I guess you'd consider older, I feel fabulous.
Me too, my darling.
But I would be considered old, and I don't have children yet. What I have found with my network, who also doesn't have children, is that the biological clock can sometimes make women make questionable decisions, especially as it relates to partners.
They can use the word fool, you know. It might apply. I can't say fool.
We
but
don't judge around the table. We don't judge. It's not a foolish. It's just questionable. And they make decisions that they probably wouldn't normally if they thought they had some more time.
Options, right.
But because of the clock and everybody around them having the babies and the baby showers, and you feel like, this might not be the guy, but it's my time to have a baby. Let me just do it. And I find that sometimes that makes, for some misaligned partnerships, marriages, and, futures.
You can tell how well-read TK is. She finds all sorts of synonyms to replace the word she doesn't
We
want
don't
to
judge.
use,
We
so
don't
she doesn't
judge.
No,
We don't judge.
But I think you're right. I think that, generally speaking, when it comes to having children or the decision to have children, a lot of the pressure is on a woman to do it by a certain age. But the truth is, there are a lot of ways to become a mother. You don't necessarily have to have your own children anymore. Surrogacy has been on the rise of late. There are a lot of very wealthy women who are choosing that route to get somebody to carry the child, so they fertilize the egg and the sperm together and then implant it in another person. So they can get on with their life same way and still have a child without having to actually give birth. So that's an option as well.
I think that's more of a consequence of the life choices that she's made as well. Because as you said, those services aren't very, accessible to the general public.
Yeah, it's expensive.
They cost a lot. Okay, they cost a whole lot.
It's expensive.
And it's only that little niche market at the top of the earnings. Those income earners can earn that much, right? So if they can get that service, it's because, all right, they've chosen a career that pays them well, they've built a business, to get to that level of success.
But what I'm saying is, all right, so surrogacy is the most expensive option, but we have foster homes and orphanages and a lot of places filled with children that already exist. Adoption is also a way to become a mother.
That's true.
So we don't always have to work with what the body can do. And the reason why I mentioned that is that there are a lot of women who they have other issues that is not just the biological clock. They have reproductive health issues, PCOS, endometriosis, those things that affect their fertility. And then they end up in a situation where they go into grave depression because their bodies are not healthy enough to carry a successful pregnancy. And I'm saying there are other options. That's not the only way to do it.
The truth of the matter, though, Shelly, is that the biological clock is definitely a societal construct that I think is a very powerful. It's very powerful.
A guideline. Right? I'd say it's a good guideline for me personally.
A good guideline is what you call it. I would say, I wish we spoke about the biological clock, at least for me, my family, and my age group earlier. Because, for me, it was always study, make sure you focus on your work. So focus on being successful, focus on being educated. And so that's what I did. And then, I thought back in the day when it was just being told to me about periods and pregnancy, I thought if you squint too hard around a boy, you get pregnant.
Yes, ma'am.
The thought of reproductive issues didn't come to mind. It was always, don't do this, don't do that, make sure you be careful, and so there was always stay away from, stay away from. Abstain and stay away from. And then you get older, you focus on what you were told to focus on, you study the books you were told to study, you do well in the career you were told to do well in, and then you say, okay, I'm ready now, and then it's like problematic, and you're like, wait, what?
Nobody told
me this. And if I had known, would I have made the same choices as a young professional that I did back then, had I known now?
That's a very important point. That's very important, TK, because the truth is, the conversation about puberty that we're having with young people right now is woefully inadequate. And especially girls. We only tell girls about period and pregnancy. We don't tell them, when we talk about pregnancy, we talk about it in a way that it is something that you do not want. Avoid it, leave it alone. If you get pregnant, it's going to ruin your life. And then when you become a woman who wants to have children, now you're learning a lot of things that, in my opinion, you should have learned from that first level of conversation. So, Kurt, as a man, what do you think we need to do differently to help us be more aware of the biological clock and how we can benefit in the long run if we use that information?
I think going back to school, we teach the children at a young age, right, where they get this level of education where it comes to getting pregnant, sexual education. We don't really do as much as we need to when it comes to the schooling system, right? I think that's where a good place to start. Even programs like what you're involved in would help a lot, right? So I think that is a great start. But then it's also a responsibility upon the women and the men to learn about these things on their own.
Correct.
Like me, for example, I have no training knowing about, you know, the women's autonomy and all of that stuff, right? I don't have any formal education. That's the words. Formal education regarding that stuff. But then, because of resources like YouTube and everything that you have online, I've learned
a lot,
whole lot.
Yes,
regarding women's body.
I want your enough more your ear because I like that. But we have to go to the break. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to the round table. This morning, our topic is the dreaded femme fatale biological clock. And, you know, we're getting into the conversation this morning. Kurt was finishing a point.
Listen, we don't have enough time for all of this. I blinked and looked at the time. I was like, all right, final thoughts?
You know, you're right. So since we don't have enough time, let us talk about the fact that right now, countries around the world, including Jamaica, are complaining that the birth rate is very low. And some of them are concerned that it is too low because we don't have enough children being born to fill the labor demand in the society and can keep the civilization running. And the truth is, a lot of women have chosen not to have children. Not to delay having children, just not to have children, period. Rich anti-vibe present. So what do you think about that? What do you think about the fact that so many women have decided not to participate in this activity, which is considered their job of a woman?
What's typical is the women who have chosen this, right, to me personally, they would be a good model in terms of like where their mind is.
Right.
Right. So I think a lot of women who are choosing that path are very capable and smart, strong-minded women who are doing this, right? So the people who I think are less fit to be mothers are the ones breeding up.
So you think we need to switch on the team?
We need to switch on the roles a little bit.
Why? Yes, TK?
And on that note, and on that note, you know, what I say to that is I think that women choosing to not have children is a variety of things, and I think the main ones are the economy.
Yes,
I think now that people are like, listen, I don't know how I buy in a house, I can barely buy the food I want, I can barely live the life that I want, how am I going to add a child to this equation? That's a thought that has definitely run through my mind, which is one of the reasons that had me delayed. So there's that. But I think there's also a movement away from the expectation. It's almost like, you know, our grandparents, great-grandparents, you know, a woman was to have children, and that's how it was supposed to be. And I think that with, you know, education and just, you know, modernization, women are like, you know, no, I'm not doing that. That's not what I want. That's not what I am choosing. And so it's almost like in protest. So,
so what about the people who would say that's selfish? Because I get that all the time. I say you're selfish. You're supposed to have children and be fruitful and multiply.
But Shelly, most people who say I'm having children, most people when I say no, I don't have any children, they say, so who's going to take care of you when you
get old? Yes.
That's selfish.
You're not getting away with that train of thought with, like, in an Asian household, you know. Your parents are literally on your case.
Yes.
On your case. Go.
You escape the pressure all this time?
Listen, I've been more of the Western mindset.
But so you blame it on Western culture?
No, I don't. Right. But what I'm saying is I would have put having children on my part a little bit down the line in life because I'm a man. Right. I need to get my money right. That's my clock, right? I don't have a biological clock per se until I get to like 50s, 60s and later on. I have a money clock, right? I need to get my money right. I need to be able to take care of myself, my wife, and my future children.
That's what you tell your mother when she asks you, how come she not getting grandchildren from you yet?
Listen, she's been pressuring me from I was 17 to get married. Oh. Okay?
All right, so we're going to find out more about Kurt life off the air because it appears we're out of time. It flies so quickly. I wonder if you have time for final thoughts. Quick and fast, TK.
All right, real quickly, my final thought as it relates to the biological clock. Do not make the biological clock make you make questionable decisions. I know that it's almost pressuring to have children. I would always encourage women, ask the question, do I want children or do I think I'm supposed to have children? Because I know a lot of women who've had children because they're like, well, it's that age, it's that time, and it's my duty. And then they find out, you know, this really wasn't for me. And had I known what I know now, what I, you know, knew that, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We know
Then
make a different
I would
choice.
have made a different
Yes.
choice. So be careful, and whatever you choose, it's your choice, and nobody not
And
to
you
chat
have to
to you.
live with it.
And nobody not to chat to you. No
Yes, man.
judgment.
Choose
Yes, sir.
wisely. Children are for a lifetime, right? And also your partner, key role, right? If you don't have a good partner, don't have children. That's as simple as I can keep it.
All right, well, I'm going to say, for those who choose not to have children, get yourself some nice friends and some enough money and travel the world and have a nice time.
Amen.
And make sure if you do decide to have children, children are a choice, not a consequence. Make sure that it's something that you can live with and it's a permanent decision, all right? Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I don't like it, it got too fast. Tomorrow is a extra special International Women's Day treat. Do not miss it. We have an exclusive wake-up call with our very own new mommy, Mrs. Kitty. Oh, I'm going to tune in for that. I can't wait to see the baby. Bet the baby nice, don't it? I see a little head of curly hair and so nice picture. I'm excited. Anyway, that is a wrap. Yes, I enjoy other people's children. This is a wrap for the roundtable this morning. Enjoy the rest of your days. And as you go forward in the world, remember to be good and be on purpose. Walk good. Take care.
Every morning I rise, I stare at the sun. I know it is a blessing. So when the evening comes, I lift up my eyes to this blessed old man. With my two hands in the air as far as I can. As far as I can. I can, yeah. My two hands in the air as far as I can. Oh, every morning I rise, I stare at the sun. I know it is a blessing. Yeah. Lift up my eyes to this blessed old man. Ooh. Sometimes I'm lost and far from home, but I'll find my way. I follow my heart, I know I'll be found someday. While I'm lost, I learn and live. What do you say? Let's have a good time until that day. Oh, every morning I rise, I stare at the sun. I know it is a blessing. So when the evening comes, I live